everyone, thank you for joining me for today's practice. My name is Paula. So today's sequence is a whole body practice, really lovely, towards the end of the day, any time throughout the day when you just want to ground and center and just get a little bit more clarity. So make sure you're nice and comfortable and let's make a start. We're going to start in a seated position, and if you feel like you need a little bit more support, you could pop a blanket underneath you or a block, sit on a block. We're going to work through just a very simple pranayama, ujjayi breathing to begin with, just to focus our energy and come to the body. So make sure you're nice and comfortable, whichever leg in front is fine. And just taking a few moments just to settle into the body. And just keeping the eyes just slightly open, just for the time being. Noticing the space that you're in. You don't have to look around, just having a sense of the space around you. And feeling into your seat. Noticing the length of your spine. Then contacting the breath. Just noticing where your breath is right now. And just to begin our ujjayi practice, we're going to take the palms of the hands just to the sides of the ribs here. And as you inhale, see if you can have a sense of the rib cage expanding outwards. So inhaling to press out into the palms of the hands. And then as you exhale, allowing the ribs to fall back inwards, hands come in closer together. And then just continue, just in your own time, trying to expand into the breathing a little bit, slowing down the inhale, lengthening out through the spine, hands expand out. And then as you exhale, hands just falling back in, lengthening up through the crown of the head. And just another couple of times, just with the hands there, just trying to feel into the sides of the ribs as you inhale. And then rib cage falls back in as you exhale. And then you can just release the hands down, resting the hands down onto the legs. And if you feel comfortable to close down the eyes, let's close them down now. Staying with the breath in and out through the nose. And in a few moments, I'll introduce a count to the breath. And let's all sync up, exhaling together. And then on the next in-breath for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Keep going. Think about breathing into the sides of the ribs, just how you had your hands there at the beginning. And then allowing the rib cage to draw back in as you exhale. So we're just going to continue. Just count to yourself that inhale for 4, exhale for 6. You might be able to introduce that slight constriction at the back of the throat and bring in that oceanic sound in and out through the nose, which sounds a little bit like this. Just continue. If it feels available, you might be able to extend your exhale to 8. Or if counting to 6 or 8 feels too much, you can always drop back down to 4 and just keep the breath even. Just see what works for you. Just another minute or so here. You might be able to draw your navel in and up towards the spine, particularly on that exhale. So when you finish off your next round, just starting to let the Ujjayi practice go, you can allow the breath to continue to be a little bit longer, but not as long, and you don't have to continue the counting. And then when you're ready, blinking open the eyes. We're going to come into a Baddha position with our feet, so bringing the soles, the feet together. Again, you feel free to sit up on a cushion or a blanket if this feels like it's a really strong position for you, or you could always take your feet a little bit further away as well. If this position doesn't work, then just come back to a comfortable cross-legged position, and yeah, I'll let you know when to swap the legs around. So just take a moment. If you're in your Baddha, you can hold onto the feet and start to just lengthen up through the spine. So thinking about the crown of the head reaching up as your sitting bones come and press down onto the mat. Taking one more full breath, just holding here, inhale, and staying for the exhale. And let's release the hands, take the arms out up to shoulder height, taking an inhale, keep pressing the outside edges of the feet together. As you exhale, bring that right hand down and the left arm up and over, pressing down through that left sitting bone, looking up towards the ceiling, and then taking an inhale, come through center, exhale, the left hand down, right arm comes up and over, dropping the bottom shoulder away from the ear, and then inhale, come back through center, right hand comes down, left arm comes up and over, and let's hold it here for a few breaths, thinking about the knees drawing down towards the mat, that left sit bone grounding down, and that right shoulder just dropping away from the ear to make that space between the shoulder and the ear. Keep reaching out through the left fingers, taking one more full breath. Staying for the exhale, reach out through the left hand, and then taking an inhale, coming back up through center, and then exhale, taking a twist to the right, that left hand onto the right thigh, or you might just be holding onto your shin, right hand behind you. Keep both sitting bones down. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, see if there's a little bit more space. We won't hold this. Then let's take an inhale to come back to center. And then hands forward and starting to walk your hands just to where you can. We don't have to go too deep here. Just opening up into those hips, shoulders away from the ears. Just a few deep, easy breaths here. And whenever you can think about that Ujjayi breath, you might bring that in. And then walking the hands back up, taking the arms out to the sides again, taking an inhale, exhale that left hand down onto the mat, right arm up and over, looking up towards the ceiling, and then inhale, coming through center, right hand down, left arm up and over, inhale through center, and one more time over to the left. Let's hold it here, drop that left shoulder away, right sitting bone, heavy. Keep the breath open. And then taking an inhale, coming back up through center, twisting to the left hand onto that left shin, or if you can, onto the left thigh, upper body turning towards the left. Steady eyes. Taking one more inhale here, and then exhale, see if there's any more space. And then let's inhale to come back to center, and just one more time, coming forward over the legs, just to where feels okay for a couple of breaths. And then walking your hands back upright, bringing the legs together, turning towards the top of your mat if you're not already there. Just separate the feet hip distance apart, have a little bit of space between the heels and the sit bones. Take the hands underneath the thighs, and then taking a few cat-cows here. So take an inhale to draw the chest forward and up, lifting the eyes. And then as you exhale, let's draw the navel in, C curve through the spine, tucking the chin in. And then again, inhale to bring the pelvis upright, lifting the chest, lift the eyes. And then exhale, C curve through the spine, drawing the chin in. And one more time, inhaling to extend, squeeze the elbows in, and then exhale, curving the spine. And then inhale to come up. And then one more time to curve, and we'll go all the way down. Keep rolling all the way down. You can straighten those legs and come all the way down into your back. Bend the feet up, feet flat onto the mat for a moment. And then let's bring this right knee in towards the chest. Interlace the fingers over this right shin, and then extend that left leg long, flexing that left foot. Take an inhale, and then exhale to squeeze the right knee in towards that right armpit slightly. Just taking one more breath here to hold. Staying for the exhale. And then let's swap it around. Bring the left knee in, extend the right leg away, flexing the right foot. Just bring it slightly over towards the left of the rib cage, towards the left armpit. Taking one more inhale, and then as you exhale, squeezing in a little bit more. And then let's swap it around once again, bringing the right knee in, and this time let's just hold it a little bit more in front of the chest, flexing the right foot and then flexing the left foot. Take an inhale. As you exhale, press the right shin away so you can lift the upper body off, so looking down the front of the body towards the top edge of the mat. And then if it feels available, you might be able to bring that left leg up as well. Keep drawing the shoulder heads down, draw the navel in, take an inhale, and then exhale to swap. Inhale and exhale to swap. And again. And you might like to breathe out through the mouth. So inhale, and then exhale out through the mouth. Keep pressing into the hands with your shin to keep the shoulder blades off if you can. That's warming up through the abdomen here. Let's go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then relax the upper body down. Let the shoulder heads drop down. Feet flat onto the mat. Take an inhale, and then exhale to peel the spine off, coming up into your bridge. Press down through the base of the big toes. Let's take a couple of breaths here. So for these last couple of breaths, you might want to lift the hips up a little bit higher. Keep drawing the tailbone towards both knees, so in between the knees, so in that direction. Taking one more inhale, and then exhale, rolling all the way back down. Bring the knees in towards the chest, and then rock yourself up to a seated position, or roll over to one side. And then extend the right leg long, and bend this left leg up. There's just a little bit of space between the leg and this left foot. And we're going for an open twist. So take this left arm up, inhale, and then exhale, hook the elbow towards the inner thigh, and then looking over that right shoulder. Use this right hand nice and close to your hips to help you lift up out of the lower back. Taking one more inhale to lift up and out of the waist. As you exhale, see if there's any more space. And then inhale, come back to center. Let's swap it around. Bring this right knee in. Flex that left foot. Right arm reaches up, inhale. Exhale, hooking the right elbow. Left hand behind you. Trying to keep both hip bones down. And then as you exhale, looking over towards that left shoulder. Taking one more inhale. Stay for the exhale, see if there's any more space. And then returning back to center. Extend that right leg long, crossing the legs over, come over the knees and step back into your down facing dog. Just finding your down facing dog. Feeling free here to take some movement or just hold stillness if you'd prefer. Finding that Ujjayi breath. Armpits rolling slightly in to face one another. Broaden across the upper back. And then looking forward towards the hands, stepping that right foot forward in between the hands and coming down to that left knee and releasing the top of the left foot down. So with this lunge, let's bring this right foot a little bit closer in towards you. So a little bit of a shorter stance so that we can bring this right knee forward and over the toes. So just a slightly different variation from the lunges that we might normally do. Just opening up the back of the ankle a little bit more, working into the foot and opening a little bit more into that left hip. If it feels okay to do so, bring the hands onto the thigh, drop the shoulders down, ground down through that right foot. Start to drop the tailbone down and lift the sternum up. Taking one more inhale. And then as you exhale, releasing the hands down and then just walk that right foot a little bit further forward again. And then let's start to straighten into this right leg, flexing that right foot, walking the hands back, taking an inhale to lengthen out through both sides of the waist. As you exhale, maybe there's some space to walk a little bit further forward. Try to keep the right toes flexed. Feel free to stay here, but if you'd like to work a little bit more to the outer right thigh and leg, you can walk the hands over to the right. Keep the right foot flexed and think about drawing that right hip crease back. Check in with your breathing. And if you're over to the right, let's come back to center and then walk the hands forward, bend into this right leg, tuck the back toes under, and then lifting into your pyramid. You might need to bring this left foot in a little bit closer. And if your hands are able to come flat on the mat, then feel free to go for that. Try to square off the hips by drawing that right hip crease back. Lifting that left heel up. Taking one more inhale. Staying for the exhale. And then let's bend into that right leg, step back into your down facing dog. Just taking a moment here. And then looking forward towards the hands, let's bring this left foot forward, coming down to the right knee, release the top of that right foot down. And then let's bring that left heel a little bit further back. So we're shortening our stance so that we can bring this left knee forward over the toes. Just opening up through the back of that left ankle. And if you can, let's bring the hands on top of that left thigh. Driving that knee forward over the toes, pressing down to the palms of the hand, dropping the shoulders away from the ears, lifting the eyes, lift the sternum. Taking one more full breath. Stay for the exhale. And then releasing the hands down. Bring that left foot a little bit further forward again. So the knees lining up over the ankle. Take an inhale and then exhale to straighten into this left leg. Walk your hands back. We're trying to keep this right hip over that right knee. Take another in-breath here. And as you exhale, maybe there's some space to walk forward. And don't worry if there isn't. This is a pose that you might actually like to use blocks to be able to have a bit more space as well. And for anyone who would like to take it over into a twist, bringing the hands over to the left, keeping that left leg parallel. So the left toes continue to point up towards the ceiling. Check in with your breath. And then if you're over to the side, coming back to center, and then walking the hands forward, bending into this left leg, tuck the back toes under and lifting the knee off, starting to move into your pyramid, maybe shortening your stance slightly, bringing that right heel up towards the ceiling. Keep drawing the quadriceps up. Remembering your ujjayi breathing. And then soften into this left leg, and we're going to just rotate around towards the right and find our wide-legged pose here, Prasarita Padottanasana. So feet parallel, hands underneath the shoulders. Take an inhale, you can come up to the fingertips, so lengthen out through the waist. And then as you exhale, starting to come forward just to where you can. If this is really strong, then you might stay a little bit more upright, or if you've got blocks, you can stay upright as well. But if it feels available, walking the hands back. Try to have the weight slightly forward onto the balls of the feet. Shoulder heads lifting away from the ears. Continue to engage the quadriceps. So quadriceps lifting up. Relax the back of the neck. Just one more breath here. And then walking the hands back out and bringing them a little bit further forward. So we're going to transition into our frog here. So come down onto the knees. You might need to take a little bit more time to get here. Feel free to just come down how you can. And you might be able to walk the knees out a little bit further. Just see what works for you. And just trying to keep the feet flexed, knees and hips in line. And then starting to come down onto the forearms, if that's available. And just finding your breath again. There can be a lot of strong sensations that come up in this pose. So really use your breathing. Just bring in a little bit of kindness towards yourself here. And if it feels like it becomes too painful, then you can always feel free to back out of it. If possible, another 2 full breaths here. Noticing if there's any space to let go a little bit deeper. And then coming back up onto the hands, just very gently bringing the feet a little bit closer together, and then start to bring the knees in closer together. Make your way back into a Japanese seated position. Just taking a couple of moments here, cupping that left hand into the right. Tips of the thumbs lightly touching. Just closing down the eyes. And then opening the eyes up, sitting over to one side, extending the legs out long, and let's come down onto the back. Let's have the knees bent, feet flat on the mat for a moment, and then extend the legs up towards the ceiling, extend the arms up towards the ceiling, and taking a few circles with the hands and the feet. So in one direction. So we're just going outwards, or if you've gone inwards, just continue going inwards, and then we're going to swap it around. Change the direction that you're circling. Keep the breath open. And then just coming to stillness, bending the knees, place the feet flat onto the mat. And just taking your time to extend the legs out one at a time. If you need to put something on that's a bit warmer, feel free to do that. Just coming into your Shavasana. Letting the feet fall away from one another. Arms a little bit away from the body, palms facing up. Just allowing the breath to slow down. Just letting go of the weight of the body here. Noticing the quality of your attention. Just allowing yourself to completely surrender the weight of the body into the mat and rest here for the next few minutes. Please feel free to stay resting here for as long as you would like to. Thank you so much for joining me for today's practice. I'll see you next time. Namaste.